Creek, Vermont, a quiet town of 3,000 people, the kind where doors were left unlocked and everyone knew everyone's story. But all that changed the night Emily Carter disappeared. Emily was a 32-year-old nurse at Willow Creek General Hospital. Kind, dedicated, and beloved by her patients, she was the sort of person who made people feel safe. She lived alone in a small cottage on Maple Street, visited her elderly mother every weekend, and had no known enemies. But on one rainy Thursday in March, Emily vanished without a trace, leaving behind a mystery that would tear her community apart. It began like any ordinary night. Emily finished a long shift and was last seen leaving the hospital around 10:17 p.m., umbrella in hand. She was expected home by 11, but she never arrived. The next morning, her car was found still parked at the hospital. The doors were locked. Her purse was inside. Her phone was dead on the passenger seat, and her keys were still in the ignition. There was no sign of struggle, no footprints, no witnesses. It was as if she had simply vanished. The town went into shock. Volunteers searched the woods, the riverbanks, and nearby trails. Local businesses closed early to join the search. But day after day, there was nothing. No clues, no trace of Emily. Investigators initially believed it was a random act of violence, maybe a stranger who'd been passing through. But Willow Creek was small, and strangers stood out. When days turned to weeks with no leads, detectives began to wonder if the answer was closer to home. While reviewing hospital security footage, one detective noticed something odd. A dark SUV leaving the staff parking lot just minutes after Emily disappeared. The license plate was smeared with mud, but investigators eventually traced similar vehicles in the area. One of them belonged to Dr. Matthew Hayes, Emily's supervising physician. Dr. Hayes was well respected, a family man, married with 2 kids. He was known for his professionalism and charm. When questioned, he seemed calm, even concerned. He told police he hadn't seen Emily since the morning shift and willingly provided an alibi. There was no evidence linking him to her disappearance, and he was released. But something about his composure didn't sit right with the investigators. 2 weeks later, a digital breakthrough changed everything. Detectives gained access to Emily's personal laptop. Inside her email drafts folder were dozens of unsent messages, and one of them stood out. It was addressed to Dr. Hayes. It read, "You can't control what happens next, Matt. I'm done keeping your secret." The discovery revealed what no one in town had imagined. Emily and Dr. Hayes had been involved in a secret relationship for nearly a year. Friends later described how Emily had grown distant, more withdrawn in recent months. She'd even told a co-worker she was tired of hiding. Phone records showed that Emily had called Dr. Hayes at 10:11 p.m., just 6 minutes before she was last seen. The call lasted only 34 seconds. When confronted again, Hayes insisted the relationship had ended months earlier. But then a new witness came forward, Doris Whitman, a hospital janitor. Doris told police that around 10:20 p.m., she saw Emily near the back exit arguing with a man in a dark raincoat. She didn't think much of it at the time, assuming it was a relative. But when shown a photo lineup, she pointed directly at Dr. Hayes. That was enough for investigators to obtain a search warrant. During a search of Hayes's property, they discovered something chilling in his garage, a blood-stained hospital ID badge belonging to Emily Carter. The blood was later confirmed to be hers. Faced with mounting evidence, Dr. Hayes finally confessed, but his version of events painted a picture of desperation, not premeditation. He claimed Emily had threatened to reveal their affair to his wife and colleagues. That night, he said, he only wanted to talk. They argued near her car, voices raised over the sound of rain. According to him, Emily tried to walk away, he grabbed her arm, and she fell, hitting her head on the pavement. He said it was an accident. Panicked, he wrapped her body, drove to his family's remote cabin 20 miles from town, and buried her behind the property. A week later, police found Emily's remains exactly where he said they would be. Dr. Matthew Hayes was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. During the trial, prosecutors argued that his confession was a calculated attempt to minimize guilt. They believed he'd planned to confront Emily that night, not to talk, but to silence her before she exposed him. The jury agreed. He was convicted and sentenced to 28 years in prison. For the people of Willow Creek, the truth was devastating. Emily's friends and patients gathered at the hospital to dedicate a small memorial garden in her honor, a quiet place where nurses could rest between shifts. But pieces never fully returned to the town. What unsettled everyone most wasn't just Emily's tragic death, it was the realization that the person responsible wasn't a stranger, or a drifter, or a faceless danger from beyond their borders. It was someone they trusted, someone they saw every day, the man who wore the same white coat as the heroes who tried to save lives. In a town built on trust, that was the hardest wound to heal. And to this day, when the rain falls softly over Willow Creek, some say it feels like Emily's spirit lingers, a reminder that even in the safest places, darkness sometimes hides in plain sight.